Now that I've done my first video of the day, let's do the second. I'm going to get some videos done this morning also, not just for preview reasons, but because today I'm going to see The Disaster Artist. So if you want to see a review of a movie that I think is going to be awesome, then you'd have to go over to my other channel, The Entertainment Guy, later today when I post my review of The Disaster Artist. That plug out of the way, let's talk about today's games, which are actually tonight's games, the earliest game starting at 4 o'clock. And then I'm going to get into some other stuff going on too, including an incident that I didn't see and I didn't hear much about on Hockey Night in Canada. Maybe I was flipping channels, but yeah, this is stupidity. All right, first game is the 13-11-5 Blackhawks at home against the 7-20-5 Arizona Coyotes. The Coyotes are in a huge tailspin. It's pretty massive. That being said, they're overdue for a win. Of course, they've been overdue for wins before. That's how you end up 7-20-5. For Chicago, this is a game that you really can't lose this. Remember, it's the Central, and the Central is just crazy, crazy good. The Central is so much better than the Pacific. And it is weird that because of the fact that Central Division teams are kind of struggling, that last I looked last night, they only have one of the two wildcard spots. We could end up with 4 teams in each division making the playoffs, which would completely destroy this whole argument about, oh, we need to revamp the whole playoff setup. So ridiculous. Anyways, Ronta played really well last night. I have a funny feeling they'll play Wedgwood. Crawford likely plays. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. He had a lot of time off. He doesn't want more time off. And he wants to help Chicago get better. So I would look for Crawford to play, and I'd look for Crawford to have a good game. Everybody has a good game against Arizona. And Arizona's got to be tired off of a road trip that it's been rough. Like I said, they're overdue for a win. I'd pick this as an upset. I just don't see how they do it. I just don't see how Arizona wins in Chicago. Minnesota, San Jose. Well, if you're a Sharks fan, this is a good matchup. I do. I think it is a good matchup. Let me take a quick look here. I realized. There we go. I realized I didn't have the goaltenders up here for this, which is fine because I haven't confirmed either of them. They have Stalock as likely, perhaps. I'd be surprised if it wasn't Dubnyk. They didn't play last night. For the 14-11-3 Minnesota Wild against the 16-10-2 San Jose Sharks. They haven't confirmed Jones. Jones will play. That's why Dell played last night. This is Jones's game. And I would look for San Jose, who's on a pretty good run themselves. I would look for San Jose to continue moving up. Because I don't know. Minnesota seems to be the team right now they were predicted to be last year. Last year, in the preseason predictions, in the preseason predictions for last season, Minnesota was supposed to be an also-ran. So people were like, all right, Bruce Boudreau's there, but Minnesota's not really good enough, so we're not going to predict them to be that high. And they were, along with Colorado, the consensus picks to miss the playoffs. Minnesota had a great regular season last year, petered out in the postseason, and now, right now, they're looking like that team that they were supposed to be last year, even though this year they were predicted to be pretty darn good, which proves that predictions are really just kind of crapshoots for the most part. For San Jose, this is an important game. They're coming off that 5-0 win last night. They've got the momentum. I would be very surprised if Minnesota pulls off the win, and yet Minnesota is also a very difficult team to predict from game to game. They just win one, lose one, and as long as you're 500, you're not going to move up. So that's them. Buffalo. So both Buffalo and Arizona are on the sched tonight. This might be a good night to do a live stream during games because I may not have to pay a lot of attention. St. Louis 28-2 at home against Buffalo 7-17-5. Why not? St. Louis is on the back half of a back-to-back. Allen's playing again after playing yesterday in Detroit. If you want an upset, why not? Why not take Buffalo to get their first win in a while? And I mean, Buffalo and Arizona, really rightfully, when I do my next charts, should just be tied at 31st because they're bad. You don't have anybody at 30th. You have a blank space, and we can agree that blank space of whatever is better than both Arizona and Buffalo. We can start calling that blank space Seattle. So right now, Buffalo and Arizona are below Seattle in terms of their rankings. But that being said, one of them has to win a game soon, and why not? The less likely upset that I would take otherwise would be Edmonton and Toronto, and here's why. Edmonton's coming off a 6-2 win. Toronto's coming off a 4-3 win, so they're both on back-to-backs. Nobody has that excuse in this game. Brossoit against probably McElhinney. I think McElhinney probably plays tonight. That would be an advantage, you might think, for Edmonton, but Brossoit played last night, McElhinney didn't. Brossoit's stats, even with that win, are still kind of pedestrian, and Toronto with McElhinney is not bad. So I would still say Toronto probably wins that game. Although Edmonton, I've been waiting for Edmonton to go on a run. This would definitely help. I just don't have any faith in Edmonton going on a run. I just don't. We're 29 games into the season. They've shown no signs of being the team they were last year. They show it for a game, they show it for 2 games, and then they just fall right back down. So I don't have any large hopes with this. Now, on the injury front, I figured I'd throw this into this video too, because there's only 4 games tonight. Ryan Getzlaf is now coming off the IR in anticipation of the return of Ryan Getzlaf and their top scorer. Getzlaf is the best scorer in Anaheim. So look out, NHL. They're going to start to get healthy. They have to, right? Oh, yeah, Lindholm was out. It just builds up on the Ducks. Jared Bull's been put on waivers. So one of the few enforcers in the NHL is on waivers, and I don't see Bull getting taken, and yet when it's an enforcer, a tough guy like Jordan Nolan, for example, got taken on waivers earlier this year, I can't rule out that somebody's going to look at Bull and say, yeah, why not? Like Vancouver, for instance, Derek Dorsett had to retire. Bull's not a replacement for Dorsett, but he is the toughness that Dorsett was. So I could see Vancouver taking him on waivers. Hornqvist is out. He took a puck to the head. I don't know if it's bad luck with Patrick Hornqvist or if it's just that he's fearless. Patrick Hornqvist takes more pucks and sticks to the head and the face area. He gets whooped regularly. And this one hurt. This one really hurt. Rung his bell pretty good. Hopefully he's not out for very long. We haven't heard anything yet. Usually means concussion when you don't hear anything right away. Jaden Schwartz is on the IR for 6 weeks. It's his right ankle, and he'll be reevaluated in 6 weeks. So this isn't he's on the IR for 6 weeks and he'll be skating. This is he'll be on IR for 6 weeks before we even reevaluate him. That's really bad news for St. Louis. And also, Pietrangelo is out. He took a shot. So he won't be in this game. Neither will Schwartz. Maybe it's time Buffalo finally gets a win. Because with Jaden Schwartz out, that's going to hurt their top 6. And with Pietrangelo not playing tonight, that's a huge hole in the blue line that, nobody can fill. So we'll see what happens with that game. But those are 2 very interesting parts that are missing for the St. Louis Blues. And Dylan DeMello of San Jose, I didn't see it. But Burrows got 5 in a game for sticking him in the face. So Ottawa loses 5-0. And Burrows is Burrows. That's why I said Burrows being Burrows up here. Alex Burrows, I love what the guy brought to Vancouver, and he's got a lot of fight, and he's easy to root for, but he's dirty. He's not as dirty now as he was, say, 5 years ago, because he doesn't play that much, and he's not as fast, and he's not on the top 6. But being a shift disturber which is what Burrows is, and sticking a guy in the face is not fun. Not fun for the Senators. Not fun for the Sharks. Definitely not fun for DeMello, who was out of the game. Based on the fact that it's an injury, based on the fact it's frickin' Burrows, I'd be surprised if him and Marchand aren't called in together and both given 5 games. Burrows has a history. Burrows has talked to the safety program before. He's often known for his mouth getting him in trouble. In this case, it's a stick. You can't stick a guy in the face. You just can't. And for Burrows, look at it this way. From the bench, Matt Tkachuk does the little tap spear, which was kind of one of those things like, I'm not touching you. Like, it kind of had that feeling because he could have done a lot worse. And he got a game. Burrows has a history. He's older. He's supposed to know better. He should get 5. He may get more than that. I haven't looked at the incident. Well, I looked it up. Found it. Found a gif of it. Yeah, Burrows is responsible for his stick. The fact that he lets go with one hand while he's butt-ending him in the face with the other hand. It's frustrating because you want to cheer for Burrows. You want to, pull for the guy because he's the ultimate underdog, really. He wasn't drafted. He wasn't expected to make the NHL. He plays through the ECHL. He plays his way into an American Hockey League and then an NHL contract. And he fights his way up from 4th line and 3 goals in a season to being an almost 30 goal scorer for the Canucks. And then he continues to develop from there. And here's where we are. We're left with a guy who's scored, I believe he's still at 6 points this year in 26 or however many games. And he butt ends DeMello in the face. DeMello is bleeding all over the place, leaves the game. So I stand by what I said, 5 games. 5 games for stupidity. He got ejected from the game. There was some fighting involved as well after the play. And anyways, again, I try to cheer for Burrows, and I had the same opinion on him when he was on the Canucks. This is not something that's changed. And it's this kind of play that Ottawa doesn't need. And of course, Ottawa is now reportedly ready to ask for the no-trade lists of all of their players who have no-trade clauses or limited no-trade clauses. Have to be limited no-trade anyways. Or else no-trade clauses are just none. But they've started asking people, all right, so where don't you want to go? Good. It's about time Ottawa looked at cleaning house because it's not working. And thanks for Jonathan Dahlen, because when you see a play like that for Burrows, that's not the kind of play that I want to see on the ice for any team that I cheer for. And yet, Ottawa is one of my favorite teams, and it kind of sucks to see it happening. I know it doesn't seem like it, but in terms of where teams are in the stats, go look at my favorite team countdowns. They're always number 4. Right now, it's tough to feel much of anything watching them play because they just don't look great. Carlson doesn't look great, and now Burrows is over creating a loud distraction as well. Interestingly enough, Sportsnet, in their package looking at that game, the San Jose Ottawa game from last night, didn't even show the Burrows high stick, didn't say anything about it. They just made a quick little blurb. Meanwhile, this guy's out injured. Hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he got a bunch of stitches, I would imagine. Probably half a dozen. I don't know. I haven't looked. But that's hopefully all that's happened with him. And hopefully Burrows gets about, I would say 5 games works. Again, the same as Marchand. And then you got Backus with a headbutt, so that's got to be a game or 2. Yeah, it's going to be a busy, busy week for NHL player safety. We're into that part of the year where these dirty hits and dirty plays are becoming more and more prevalent as the games get more important. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.